But I just want to make it very painfully clear for the listening audience that last week, these rude men, Lay's not here to take accountability for it. I got looks maxed, I got mogged, I got pogged in every way, shape, and form. I got
I wasn't
harassed
here.
for my fashion. Aiden wasn't here, so he doesn't take
Right.
any responsibility in this. But
Thank you.
everyone else shamed me for my fashion. I was on a podcast, I was chill, I was having fun with my boys, and I got owned, truthfully. And a little tear came from my eye. And from that tear came a new fashion style.
He put a hat on. He put a hat on backwards.
I knocked my goddamn fan over. Well,
It's backwards.
The hat is backwards. I've got a promise ring. What's that about? You guys are gonna have to keep listening to find out what that's all about. Let's just say it's a little exciting.
He looks like this Jack the Killer, whatever the frick, the creepypasta for a second.
Jack the Killer? Jack the Killer?
You're all blurry and your face was all white. It looked like a scary creepypasta.
Jeff the Killer? Is that what you're talking about?
Jeff the Killer.
No,
Jeffrey.
No, we stand Jack the Killer. That's who we stand.
That's what you were. That's what you were.
I shaved. I'm not disheveled.
Braden's Mac the Knife.
Mac the Knife?
Yeah.
What is Mac the Knife?
It's a song.
Is it? By whom?
Bobby.
Oh, you don't even know. You don't know your boy Bobby?
Bobby.
No, I don't know Bobby that well. Bobby Darwin.
Oh, Bobby Darwin is classic song Mac the Knife.
It is. I'm not shitting you.
No, I believe you. I just don't believe you. Because Aiden will pull any song out of his ass and be like, that does not exist. And sure enough, it always does. If he wanted to gaslight me, he very easily could. But he's a very honest man, so he wouldn't do that. But he's always like, oh yeah, there's a song from 80 years ago. It's called Schlimbus Borbus. It was performed by Yak Mableby. And There was a couple
times when I was telling my sister I was listening to the French versions of like some songs. She did not believe until I played it. It was like female vocalists. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's
ridiculous.
psycho. That's psychotic.
But they sound great though, and in French you're like, oh crap! Like Pain in Black in French sounds amazing.
Here's a real question: Do you prefer the English do you prefer 99 Luft balloons, or do you prefer 99 red balloons? That's the real question.
Love balloons.
Luft balloons is better.
Yeah,
it sounds way better.
That's how I initially remember hearing it, and then when I heard it in English, I'm like,
I prefer the sub, not the dub. Okay. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back again to another episode of the All Things Geek podcast. I'm hosting today, Braden, or Renzolian, and I'm joined today by my good friends, man whose name starts with an A.
Thatch.
Oh, shit. You're really fucking this up, dude. You're off the podcast, man.
Look, I'm Aiden.
Yeah. That's instant karma, bitch. That's what
off the rails. This is a chaotic
Hey, I caught them. Alright, guest starting Bush Wanker.
You're lucky Ty's not here, because he'd be punching the screen over and over again.
That's why I'm having him on here. But I also know he's not here. I gotta fuck this over for you, so.
That's fair, man. Yeah, Ty's obviously not here. He's currently inhaling LA smog, so we probably won't see him ever.
He's having another baby.
He's having another
He's
child.
not alive anymore. He's not with us anymore.
He's taking a leave of absence from the podcast because he is
actually
pregnant.
dying.
Well, he will die in pregnancy, but that's besides the point.
He's gonna be so pissed when he's gonna listen to this.
This is gonna be his face the whole time. He's gonna be,
you fuckers.
I don't know why these guys are joking about it, because he literally died.
Motherfuckers.
Yeah, he's mostly gonna blame Braden. That's usually
yeah. Well, he died, Thatch, but we're gonna bring him back with black magic, so it's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with it.
You're not supposed to say that out loud, okay? You're not supposed to say that out loud.
I like being transparent with our audience.
Not a secret society if you tell everyone, Braden. We've told you this about 100 frickin' times.
Sorry, guys, we're not in the Illuminati. Wink, wink, wink. You know what I'm saying?
This is a Tide commercial, subliminally telling you to choke on a Tide Pod.
Yeah, that's just playing ads. He's like, he wants to. Nobody wants to sponsor us, so he's just blasting ads in the background.
Oh man, this is
Hey,
me begging.
I did our only sponsor not long ago, and that was for One Ball Paul.
One Ball Paul, that's true. Well, this is
Yeah.
our second sponsor, Tide and what looks like military. Don't play Pharaoh's copyrighted song. Jesus Christ.
I like how it looks like you're looking behind your computer to see it better.
Well,
Like,
I am because the camera is sitting right in front of my screen, so I
okay.
have to
Is it
awkwardly.
somebody- I'll get a better view if I look around Thatch just to see it.
No, like legitimately, this is my camera. It's right here. I have to look behind it. He's got some lo-fi beats playing in the background. This is gonna be a good episode today, ladies and gentlemen. We got a nice arrangement of topics here for y'all. First of all, there was some SH Figure Arts Dragon Ball news, which I don't follow the Dragon Ball line at all, but I do love Dragon Ball, and they're doing a little something that I'm kind of into. I don't know. They're doing a little guy. They're doing the OG Dragon Ball manga cover of Goku version. It looks smaller. The other Goku's way too big. He's like closer to like he's probably closer in scale to like Spider-Man, like the No Way Home Spider-Man. I don't know why he's so tall. He should be way small. He's a kid. And this has a little dragon base. It's cute as hell. It's cute as hell. I really like it. Don't know how expensive it's going to be or when it's releasing, but hey, I cherry pick with the Dragon Ball line. I pick my favorite characters and the ones that I can afford. So that's yeah. I want that Goku.
Hey,
It's another version of Goku. Who would have guessed? But yeah.
me.
Moving on to something that actually happened last week, but we're swinging back around because Aiden wasn't here, and he has more thoughts than any of us about this topic. So take it away, Aiden. Tell us a little bit about the Venom 3 trailer. Why don't you?
Okay, Venom 3. I don't know why I would have more opinions than everyone else. But,
Resident Venom superfan.
Well,
Yeah.
No. You
certified.
have more opinions.
I forgot my card.
No,
I left my card in my other pants.
You have more opinions because you've read the comic that this is based
Oh,
on.
well.
Kind of. Not based on, but like the
I don't know.
stuff.
It's not. I think it's more towards, like, Noel than anybody else. Yeah.
Right.
A few years back, like, when I get, like, when I like collect Marvel Legends and also like getting characters where I'm like, that figure looks cool. I want to learn more about that character. I got the 2-pack when they had the 60th anniversary for Spider-Man with Venom with the bat wings and then or the dragon wings, I should say, and then no. And I have my figure here. He's excellent. So I was curious, what's his story? Is he some just like cheap edgelord? Kind of, but actually, Noel's pretty damn cool. I read the King in Black, like more like the big battle storyline stuff, where like Venom is like OP and has like a combination of. I'm trying to remember because it's been a couple years since I've read it, but like using the Silver Surfer's power, then having like the power cosmic and like a whole array of powers at once just to defeat Noel because he was so powerful. This guy, like at the origin of his power, was like so OP that he chopped off the head of a sentinel that I think eventually became nowhere within the comics. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But yeah, so I guess we're jumping into it a bit too much because we're talking about the trailer. Yeah, this is
Probably,
I guess
probably
the
doesn't have any of that. Let's be honest here.
well, it's interesting because yeah, we got like a couple shots in this new Venom trailer. The final trailer, I would hope, because I don't think we need to see anything else from it. But knowing Sony, they'd probably throw out some like random shit the last couple weeks. But
Absolutely.
I think people go out on their way and see it because people surprisingly enjoy these films, which I can't stand the first one. The second one is up and down for me, mostly because Carnage was like the biggest thing holding my interest. But I also do like the dynamic of. I'm glad they kept Venom just goofy, but this movie's just gonna have. Judging by the trailer and then now the inclusion of Noel, way too much on its plate. I mean, entirely too much. It was already enough with just having the military or the guardsmen, I think they're called, because they were in the original Lethal Protector Venom storyline. And now with the whole array of the family of symbiotes, I mean, and now just tack on Noel on top of that, and they're gonna have like I guess a young Peter Parker and like what? There's like 5 different things going on at once.
Yeah.
And I don't know how this movie is going to tackle or juggle that in a great manner, but it may be a fun dumpster fire to witness, especially just like a end note on this trilogy. But it seems weird because I don't see Null having a huge part in the movie. He's just going to be like a character behind the curtains, and then sending out, like I said, all these Clintar eating creatures. I don't know what the hell they're called. But and also have like the symbiotes. It's just all over the place.
A lot.
So, am I excited about Null's inclusion? Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit concerned, and it's like where the character's not. I don't think it's not hard to mess up, and that goes for a lot of things, right? But I don't expect like this grand entrance or anything for him. But like it's just gonna cut away between the symbiote planet and then back to Earth, I guess. But I also thought of what was that? I'm losing my train of thought. I don't know. It's I think when you're having a character like Null introduced at the end of a Venom trilogy, it's like, all right, he's a worthy player to have within the fray, but at the same time, it's like, are you going to have enough time to even include this character? And according to the co-creator of Null, via Twitter or wherever he was talking to socials, of he's read the script for this film and says that Null was done right, which I don't know how much you can say behind of the co-creator. I mean, it's like, all right, do you take that as valid? But I guess we'll have to see that for ourselves. I'm really curious to how this movie's going to play out. Is it going to be any decent? I think it's just going to be entertaining to watch, nonetheless. No matter how bad it's going to get, because like I said, the second one did held my interest a little bit. It was quick, brisk, really ridiculous, but I think that's what these movies are, and I'm glad they don't really shy away from, and just continue to through this. But we'll see. And I guess they're setting up Null to be like a major villain for like all these Sonyverse movies, if they even are able to go forward with that idea. I do not know. Or everyone's thinking they're going to include him in Spider-Man 4 and have him and Venom show up, they like team up together.
Yeah.
It's all over the place. Personally, I don't want him in Spider-Man 4.
No.
Street level. Thank you very much. But yeah, I know people were like at the
like
same
worst
time,
case
if you want to do anything multiversal and you want to have Venom in Spider-Man 4, and I guess they fight Null, I guess. I hate that.
Venom just fought Null, so it's gonna be weird. Unless like the movie.
Well, we don't know. We don't know if we're gonna like meet face to face
mean,
again. It's possible he could show up on Earth, but there's so much happening. Like I said, you had the guardsman, the symbiote, Peter, and now fucking Null and the Clintar eating.
It's gonna be a mess. It's gonna be such a mess. Yeah. Although I will say the trailer, kind of liked it. I just watched it. It's stupid as all hell. All right. I know. It's entertaining though, and there's visuals like Venom riding a motorcycle with like a gun, and it's just like, what the fuck are we doing? I don't think he has a gun. I don't know what I'm talking about. But he's riding on a motorcycle. I'm like, this is like my Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah, he's just on a bike and has his tongue like a dog, like hanging out, a mile
there's
out.
Shit like that I like, and there's like certain lines. Like
the promo stuff they shown with him turning like a fish and a frog. Yeah, obviously, we
the horse. Yeah,
the frog I'm excited about because I don't know how the hell they're gonna like introduce that. In this
why would he need that? That's I
don't.
He's like
turned
into a frog.
Like, Venomized frog. I'm like,
I guess
okay.
He might get split up from Eddie, and he has to go on like his own crazy adventure.
Yeah,
that happened in Venom 1. They had the villain of that movie went across the country by jumping different hopes or something.
Yeah,
I'm guessing it'd be like a scene where they get.
Now they're in that position where they're on the run across the country. Yeah. But yeah,
they're doing so much shit, and I don't think it's gonna be a good movie. It'll be probably funny and like it'll be fun.
I think it will be entertaining. It's just how much of a clusterfuck it's gonna be. I don't know.
This is a good. This is a.
I think we're in for a
ride.
We're in for something. Yeah, we're in for a ride.
I think this is a perfect drunk movie. Is what this is. This is the perfect movie to get trashed.
Well, you could say about the whole trilogy, honestly.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
Let's take a moment to emphasize that we now have a Venom trilogy. Like, what kind of reality do we live in?
The dark reality, the dark universe is what we live in.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna hop in. Pretty much echo everything Aiden is saying. I think they're trying to make this movie feel epic and big, and that's really what they're going for. Is they want a large scale blockbuster movie, because Venom 1 and 2 were kind of like budget movies now, like not a very like weird small scale movie, you know. So I feel like they're gonna do they're trying to make this one big and large and like epic, but I feel like Venom as a character is just an idiot. So it's kind of
Yeah.
weird to put him like I think he works as a smaller like scale thing. You know, I think he
Yeah,
works as a
he
smaller
does.
scale thing, especially these movies. So I'm a little concerned about them like going nuts with it. It'd be like trying to turn Ghost Rider into a fucking massive blockbuster, you know, character
Yeah.
like Avengers movie. And you're
Yeah.
right. There's too many storylines. Not convinced that we're ever actually going to see the light of day with that Peter Parker storyline. They might cut it. They always do every time.
Yeah,
At
that's
the
the other
same
thing too. We really can't take these trailers for like, all right, we're gonna be 100% seeing this. And I mean, there's already some stuff with continuity, like in the first trailer, where we see the little drop of the symbiote at the bar, which I don't know how the fucking guardsman guy, Baron Mordo, got there in the first place.
It doesn't make sense because that goop is left in the MCU, but they're in the
Yeah.
Venomverse right now.
So what
How
do
in the
you-
hell does that work? You know,
What is he part of the TVA? I don't.
yeah. So there's a lot of weird. So we'll have to see how it plays out, but I think it's just too many storylines. Any one of these storylines, I'd be like, all right, you know. There's just it's like 3 different paths. It's like symbiote task force, you know, government agency, and then toxin, and then a whole army of other symbiotes, and then Noel with his monsters, and then Peter Parker and it's like so much happening for such a
Yeah.
stupid character. It's just I feel like it's just going to overwhelm itself.
Yeah.
Nervous about. In regards to like the future, you know, like in regards to like Null and like the future of Spider-Man and where that's going, you know. I really don't know. I will say whenever this stuff happens with Sony, it never quite works out the way we expect. Like there's a direction we all theorize and think it's going in, and then it never ends up doing that. You know, like people thought we were going to get Sinister Six by now, and we just fucking haven't. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you know, same thing back in you know the old like again every Spider-Man movie, every you know we always think it's going to be one way, and then it just ends up going in a weird. So I'm not convinced we will see Null in the next Spider-Man. We might. We'll have to see. I really don't know where they're going or what their plans are with it. I do think though that we might. There's a good chance we'll see Venom in the next Spider-Man movie. I just have a feeling that there's a good chance at least that happens.
Yeah.
So
In some
I don't know,
shape or form.
yes, they keep setting up that he's gonna freaking die in this movie. He's obviously not gonna die, so I'm not too
No.
worried about that.
No.
But
Yeah, they're really
the
hammering
best
that
part-
point home.
yes, they're really trying to sell you on that Venom's gonna die, and I'm like, he's
Trying to
not
make
gonna
us
die.
cry.
He's-
It's like I don't give a fuck if Eddie Brock explodes. I don't. I could
Also,
care
you're
less.
right. If
Well,
he
that's what
dies, I
mean,
don't
like, when you're
care.
setting up the Null stuff in here, which I feel like it's just like your first move of introducing, and like, oh, you're gonna do it on the third movie where you're apparently gonna try and kill this main character. But as such was just explaining this, it just made me think back to like how like a goofy character like Venom should not have like so much like a big like large scope like story happening. That's the same for the King in Black Marvel comic, man. It's like I kind of read it, I'm like, this is so ridiculous. Like the whole planet's been overrun by Null with all its symbiotes controlling, and Venom's the only one that can stop him. You know, I'm just kind of like, I don't know, this big fucking goofball, and then he gets the power cosmic, makes like a fucking axe with Silver Surfer and Mjolnir. That was the other part of it. Yeah, and it's like, what? I mean, it was enjoyable to read, but I'm like, this is wild. So I do kind of think Noah's a cool villain, and I think he has potential to work on film, but it's Sony we're talking about, so I don't know how
Well, I
they're
don't have
gonna do.
faith. I don't have faith in it.
No, I don't. I mean, there wasn't much faith to begin with.
This whole franchise is run on false hate, on false hope, or not even hope.
Yeah.
It's just
False
false hate. Yeah. No, I don't know. It's weird.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. You want to do Null in a movie and you want to tackle like the space side of the symbiotes, just Sony play ball with Marvel and do a Guardians movie where Null's the villain of that movie.
Yeah,
Explain
and then
where
you
Null
Venom
comes
like Space Knight. I don't know.
Yeah, like and then you can explore like that would be way more. Also, Venom is an inherently goofy character, and the Guardians movies are inherently about goofy reject characters.
No, he'd
So,
fit right in.
I think
He would fit right in.
that's always been my pitch, but that's never gonna happen. No.
I would like that.
Venom's a
Yeah.
headliner, apparently. They're like, he's the
Yeah.
top dog. And
Yeah, I mean, I was just rereading the original Venom comics, and I'm like his first appearance, and it's just like, I don't know, man. Like even back then, like, all right, I guess he looks cool, but
Right.
like as a threat, he's so dumb. Eddie Brock is
He's
so
petty.
dumb.
yeah.
He's petty. He's just a
Yeah,
petty
he is.
ass.
Yeah, and
That's
the
what
whole
it is.
reason behind it, it's like, he didn't even work with the Bugle and the origins, the original origins for it. So he's just mad like, you exposed my story, you ruined my life that I lied about clearly with false information. It's like I caught someone plagiarizing, and then they get all butthurt about it. I'm like, well, what the fuck do you expect? I expose you, I ruined your life, and
Eddie Brock
this
is
studio had
serious.
more reason to
He's
have some. You got rejected. That's like, man, that sucks.
he's a
But
meathead.
yeah, full through and through. He's like, I gotta get
And the
strong.
symbiote's just an angry X. It's just an angry X. That's what that is.
Yeah,
Just,
it's different. Yeah,
like that's its whole motivation.
Eddie's just being used. So yeah,
I know.
I mean,
It's so weird.
he doesn't.
Well, in
he
the
deserves
now Venom is just this weird fucking thing that exists in this universe. He has no, like, what does he live for? Aside from just eating shit. Like, he doesn't.
That's it.
Does he have a dream?
Yeah,
Does he have
no, I mean that's
goals?
what
Does he have something he wants to do? Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. It's
dumb.
It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, we're in a weird timeline, aren't we?
Yeah,
But
we've been in it.
sometimes that timeline yields good results. Like, out of fucking nowhere, we're getting a movie that Aiden is probably the most excited. I think it's your most anticipated movie in a while.
Next year,
Yeah, what comes out next? Oh, Fantastic Four comes out, doesn't it?
the Fantastic Four is that's my most
Okay.
anticipated.
I thought that was the year after, so I was kind of like going like, okay, but
Yeah,
I
no.
always think every movie is the year after it comes out.
yeah,
Just
'cause
assume it comes out.
I need a big trailer. I need a big date on screen at all times to know when something's coming
Trailer.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Hey, tell us a little bit about the freaking Dogman trailer of all things, because that's
So
yeah. Give us a little background,
So-
because some people might not know what this is.
Growing up, and still to this day, one of my favorite authors is Dave Pelkey, who, if any of you are like around our age, grew up with the Captain Underpants series. He is like my Bibles. I cherish each and every one of them. And after Dave Pelkey completed the initial 12 books of the Captain Underpants series, he decided to do a spin-off, more graphic novel approach to his books with Dogman. And that's been going on. I think they're going to put out the 13th book this year, which is crazy, because now it's surpassed Captain Underpants with its initial run. And since 2020 or 2021, I say, they announced that DreamWorks is developing a film, because they did a film for Captain Underpants back in 2017. Fortunately, we never got a sequel for that, which I've always been sad about. But they've been working on the Dogman film for a couple years. It was radio silent. Didn't hear anything. I was like, kind of like, oh, I guess we may not be getting the movie. No, they were working on it the whole time. It was like a few months back. There was an update on production on it, and then we got the cover for the art book, and I was instantly sold. And then earlier this week, what was it, on Tuesday, I believe, we were graciously blessed with a full-blown 2-minute trailer. And my God, I am so ecstatic. I have read most of the Dogman books. I don't have all of them, surprisingly. I just like Captain Underpants is more my thing than Dogman, but I appreciate Dogman just because of its approach, and I also love that there's like an imbued message in every book that's really emphasis on like friendship and positivity. But this movie looks absolutely incredible from the animation alone. But man, they just got the vibe down of the books, of like Dave Pelkey's flair and style, but also not like it's in a similar vein with Captain Underpants, but also different, because the whole premise around Dogman is that it's a George and Harold made up Captain Underpants, and then he came to life. But that was just through the hypno ring, hypnotizing their principal. Dogman is just a comic that George and Harold make, and this is just like they make a bunch of issues for it, and that's why when you read the graphic novels, that's just their written stories of it. They start with the prologue, and you'll hear about George and Harold, and then why they made the book. I love it. So that's why I'm hoping we get a cameo with them in this movie, which please, I would be so happy. Yeah, the movie looks incredible. It's the trailer speaks for itself. The basic premise. I'm just so ecstatic for it. It looks gorgeous. That was like the biggest thing, and I'm like, oh my god, they got the vibe down right. There's just the actual world and details, and the biggest thing that stuck out to me, because I know with like some adaptations they want to make a character that's usually silent in its original material. Dogman we're talking about here is silent. He just growls. He doesn't actually like speak verbally. I was so relieved because that gives the character so much different ways of expression, and that's what I loved about him in the books. And they maintain that here, and they just have the right pieces set up. And they basically just showed like I think would be the first act of the movie. I know I sound like I'm talking like a serious film here, but I'm just so excited for the movie. It just looks colorful, and I love the. I did not expect Pete Davidson to voice Petey the cat. That's something I'm not 100% on because I've read Petey in so many different Dave Pelkey books. I have like a set voice for him in my head that didn't sound exactly like that, but I'm like, well, that kind of works. But the guy they had playing Chief, who I know was in uh, Ryan Reynolds' buddy and Free Guy. I think he was perfect casting for that. I'm excited to see characters that they allude to in the trailer. If you look in the background, like Flippy, I think they're probably gonna make him like a main villain outside of like Petey. But they're obviously gonna have little Petey. He's a clone of Petey, just to give you guys some background on that. Yeah, I have so many thoughts on it. What did you guys think of the trailer? The trailer song was absolutely amazing with Daft Punk.
Yeah, that said, I remember when he saw it, he was like, it goes so unnecessarily hard. And I was like,
Yes,
he's
it
not wrong.
does. It does, and it fits
Totally does.
Dogman too,
Yeah,
man.
it
Oh, I love
does.
it.
I
Love
will
it.
say, I've been seeing a lot of people, like, who probably don't know this franchise kind of coming out and, like, saying this looks awesome. So that's
Yeah, I've
actually
been
really
seeing a
cool.
lot of coverage on it.
And there are a lot of people did not know Dogman's origin, like me. I was
Yeah,
like, everyone's shocked, like, oh my god, that's how it happened. Obviously,
and it's great. It's
obviously it's
great.
goofy.
Yeah,
Yeah, obviously it's
yeah,
silly. Obviously it's not graphic or anything, but it still is
yeah.
like, oh my god,
Well, the potty humor that's not as prevalent
yeah,
in this series, and you'll see in
yes,
this movie. But it has its own humor, which I liked about those books.
yeah,
So
for sure. Uh, Other than that, yeah, I think it looks awesome. I don't know if I'd go see this personally, but I would see it with like I'd go see it with you, obviously. But I
you
wouldn't
better
like
go see it without me.
I wouldn't. Aiden, this is
I'll pay for your damn ticket. All
this is
right.
Aiden's end game. He like he just
This
wants.
is the movie I'm gonna go like see like 87 times in the theater.
He's like world record holder for seeing the movie most in theaters. Did you
Yeah.
you saw the Captain Underpants movie in theaters, right? Obviously.
You know what? I'm ashamed to say it. I did not.
That's why it
I,
didn't get a sequel, Aiden.
well, I just remember that time too when the movie came out. I wasn't driving by then. I
Right.
couldn't just. I don't know why I didn't ask my parents this. Hey, drop me off the movies to go see it. But I remember when that movie came out, school ended, and then I went on like a 3-week vacation, and then I don't think I had
Gotcha.
a chance to go
Bad
and
timing.
see it. But oh my god, I regret it so much.
Yeah.
I that is like the biggest regret I will ever have. Is I love that movie. I think it's like a perfect adaptation of the character. I just wish we got a sequel because there's so much they could dig into with the later books. So yeah, that's what do you think of the trailer?
I think it looks great. Braden kind of said like the song fits so. I mean, they kind of set him up like RoboCop, which I think is awesome.
He
I think that's
is.
so
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
It
that's like the
feels like
whole.
pretty,
A lot of Dave
yeah,
Pelkey's work is like a parody on like superheroes or something like a
That makes
different
sense.
concept, and I love the references. Like that's like as a kid, I always like picked up on it. I'm like, oh, I see what he did there. As you're reading, like, hey, but yeah, that's like
yeah.
the premise with Dogman. So
It's great. It's very funny. The humor is really good. The animation's gorgeous. The songs like make
I
the trailer
think
feel epic.
it's one of the best trailers I've seen in a minute. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
It really
it's
just
good.
like it just shows you like, all right, this is what the movie's gonna be like. Go see it. I'm like,
It really helps that for me personally, it was Sonic 3, yes. Then it was Minecraft. Oh my god, no. then it was this again, and it's like, and then Venom 3 is like in the middle. It's like, it's not, it's under this. It's way under Shadow or Sonic 3. It's nowhere near Minecraft though. That's the worst trailer I've ever seen in my life. So that helps.
We needed a good trailer like this. I'll be
Yeah.
honest. So,
Yeah. It's
I'm just so
longer
happy
than I
to
was
maybe.
expecting too.
Yeah.
I'm happy they're doing it because I understand that. I think Captain Underpants did pretty okay at the box office, but it didn't blow anyone's socks off, you know.
I think Dogman is going to do really well.
Dogman's gonna be the
I hope so.
underrated classic.
Yeah, because the past
I hope
couple
so, but
years,
I'm happy
yeah,
they're
go
still
ahead.
working with Pelkey, and they're still making
Yeah.
stuff out of him. I actually wanted to ask you, if it weren't a sequel to Dogman and they did another Pelkey like book, which one do you think would be number 3 that they would do next? Like, what would be the next biggest one they could do?
Like off like a spin-off wise.
Yeah, like, so instead, you know how they did Captain Underpants, Dogman, and then like if they didn't do a sequel to Dogman, but instead did a different one of the books. Which one do you
If
think
they
would be like?
did, if they did like if it's not a direct sequel to Captain Underpants or Dogman, the other only one I can think of is Super Diaper Baby, who only had like 2 books, but that's like
Okay.
very connected to Captain Underpants. So I mean, they could get away with it, but I don't think there's enough there like what Dogman has to make a whole movie about them. Now, if there was, this is like dream scenario, a team up movie with Dogman and Captain Underpants, I would just, oh my god,
Throw in Super Diaper Baby there too, and you got your big ass.
Yeah, well, and they
Fan
made
game.
like Snatch was asking about this the other night because they made like a comic of them teaming up in one of the actual books, and I remember reading that and I was like, I would love to see more of that.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this is like I'll send a picture of it in the chat. One of them was Harry Potty, which was where not Dogman was there, but it was Captain Underpants and Super Diaper Baby and Diaper Dog all teaming up to fight Harry Potty, which was like a whole yeah, Diaper Dog's great. Harry Potty was like a whole spoof on Frankenstein.
Of course it is. It wouldn't be a spoof on what you think it would be.
Yeah, I'll read the title. Yeah, I think it was this. Harry Potty and the Underwear of Justice. And it was mostly like Captain Underpants fighting him. But the sequel, this is really where it goes into. I'll just name it real quick: The Night of the Terror of the Revenge of the Curse of the Bride of Harry Potty.
Perfect. That's beautiful.
Yeah. I've always wanted a third one because they like tried to do like a Seed of Chucky spoof where like they're like Harry Potty had like a kid. So
nice.
Anyway, yeah, I'm so excited. Dave Pelkey's like one of my favorite authors. Talk about like, oh my god, like one of my heroes. He is it, man. For like, I mean, he imbued so much of my creativity. I think for like inspired me so much. My old like notebooks and growing up, I would just draw Captain Underpants all the time, or want to make my own comics. And I related to like George and Harold so much. Maybe not. I like the troll, but not just like always making stuff or doing something goofy. Those books were just like brought me hours and hours of just endless happiness. So seeing something like Dogman being adapted, and I hope that will become like its own franchise of its own. I cannot wait to see this movie in the theater. So I will see it in the theater.
Oh yeah.
Even if
you know, tickets a month in advance, and you're gonna book out.
Yeah.
You're gonna book out the entire theater, so you can just go yes.
Yeah, honestly, I would just do that. I would just do that.
When's it coming out?
January 31st.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, it's not the best time for a movie to come out, but
but it's a kids movie too.
True.
So
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like
that's true.
January,
January,
February are always rough,
now. Yeah, it is. I hope the movie does well. So bless you.
I got what else I was gonna say? Oh yeah, they need to fucking do this treatment with Bone like ASAP. Like
that I will tell you.
Yeah,
dude. If there ever had to be an adaptation that I would want to see, is a faithful Bone adaptation, and the development hell that it's been through because Netflix was going to do one years ago. Insane to me, and that the author of the Amulet books was going to do it. He was going to direct them.
Yeah.
Stepped away from it, and I understood his reasoning because he just wanted to make more books like Bone. I get it, but I I can't take that opinion anymore because the author screwed up the ending of his own series.
Right.
I'm so tremendously disappointed with the Amulet
Now you're like,
ending.
I'm pissed. I'm
Yeah,
pissed.
the last 2 books were so rushed, and like a 7 book up to 7 books was just like
He
tremendous. And
spent
then the
so
last
long
He's
on
doing
this
more.
story too.
Wait. He's doing more Bone books. He's doing Bone comics now.
yeah, he's still doing like Bone comics, Jeff Smith once in a while. He put out.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant the Amulet guy. You said he left to do more Bone books.
He
instead of
wanted
the
to do more
show?
books that were like Bone, like epic in scale and like more comic or
Oh,
like
okay.
graphic
Yeah, so it
novels.
seems
Inspired
like he was
I
working.
should've
Yeah,
put-
he
I
was
should've made
working
that
on the
clear.
Bone series. And went, I just want to go make my own books instead.
Yeah, well, he was like, like he's working on Amulet, and Jeff Smith was like, I would love for you to work on the Bone adaptation.
Yeah.
He was like, well, I want to do that so bad, but I also want to focus on just making my series and like making Bone like books like Bone because Kazu, the author of the Amulet books, was so inspired by Jeff Smith to begin with to make Amulet. So I love Amulet up to book like 7, and then Supernova, which is book 8, and it was a rushed ending, and I hate to say that because this first 5 books are so tremendous for like graphic novels. I mean, they're incredible. So, but yeah, nothing out there to me is like Bone. It's like, to me, it's up there of like, how do you adapt that? Do you make that a series? Don't make that a movie. I want to make that a movie.
You gotta make it a
there's so much
series.
hard.
You gotta do a series.
It's hard because when you look at the way it's drawn, in my opinion, it's clearly drawn like classic 2D animated like fantasy movies, like
and it should be that.
like Secret of Nim and stuff like that. Like it's in like old style like Disney fantasy 2D anime. Like it's very clearly trying to go for that vibe. If it was a show, it would never have the budget to pull off that quality of animation. But if it was a movie, the pacing would be all screwed up. So it's kind of hard. It's like I just want someone to give them a million.
And there's so much setup and stories. The Bone series overall is like nearly 2,000 pages.
Yeah.
So it's like, you have so much story to cover at the same time. But
Stop motion
to
would be
anyone,
cool too.
if you, what's that?
Stop motion would look awesome too.
Oh, that would,
But
but
there'd be no time.
It'd be cool, but
it'd
be cool, but I think the classic like the Bone books are so inspired by 2D.
No, I know.
Yeah,
yes.
And I think that was being thrown
Like,
around that they were going to do 3D, and I was like, that ain't it. Don't do.
No,
because you see like the Telltale games. 2D. Yeah, like they tried
it's
to.
Cool. It's like Bone is like Looney Tunes with the bones and like old style like Warner comic animation combined with like the Black Cauldron. Like that's what it is like. It's like it's that.
You wouldn't imagine it, but it's the coolest thing ever.
It works so well. It works
some of the greatest characters I've like read, and it's just what an epic story and a tremendous ending too. I love the world of Bone. Incredible, absolutely incredible.
That's the reason why they couldn't make it, is because they just realized, we can't do this thing justice. Like we don't have the budget for this shit. Like
and also because Netflix is weird and they canceled everything and they went on
an
animation bender and canceled it all.
Let's just not forget Dark Crystal.
Yeah, well that's.
We'll never forgive them for that shit. That was the worst thing.
No, I'll never forget that. That was what a great first season. I mean, fantastic. It's great that first season exists, but like to continue to tell the whole. I wish that they just were able to tell that whole story in one season, because that way they wouldn't have been able to have the possibility of just getting canned. But still, I mean, for the pacing of how everything was set up, I mean, it just needed a season 2 for how this story was being told. So yeah, that will forever bother me. So yeah, I think put it like a sour. Yeah.
Sorry. I think I get the point Aiden's getting at here, but I think for Jim Henson, what's nice about them is that they still own the rights to Dark Crystal, and I'm almost 90% certain that we'll see another back at it. And it might not be Netflix, it might be a movie, it might be animation. I'm not sure, but Jim Henson Company is great about keeping their IP alive. So I'm sure we'll get a resolution.
They've kept that alive through Apple TV. That show is that's like one of the best revivals I've seen in a long time. Oh man! All right,
But I think before I cut you off, I'm sorry. I think what you were kind of getting at was even if we had gotten Bone on Netflix, it probably would have gotten canceled before it even got
yeah,
finished.
that's basically what I'm getting at. Yeah. I just hope one day we get to see it. Some adaptation done right. But to me, that's like as sacred to me as it is like Lord of the Rings. You know, it's like I can't stand Rings of Power. I just don't care for it. I think it's a
Rings of
disservice.
Power. That budget should have gone into a Bone show. Is what should have
Yeah,
happened.
honestly, it should have. Yeah,
Even
been
though,
great. Amazon.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Is like they're just gonna can it after first season. Oh, another thing that disappoints me: Last Kids on Earth.
Yeah.
Love the first. They just started to find their footing and then took it off.
Gone.
I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah. And sometimes
Can't have anything right.
they'll just let some shit go on for seasons and seasons and seasons.
Yeah,
and
it's like there's such a. It's like a. I'm sorry, but some of them are like such shitty shows in comparison. I'm like,
yeah.
this,
No,
man?
I know, man. There are some shows on Netflix where you're like, what are you doing? How is this still going? But Dark Crystal didn't get renewed. Like, what are we doing, man? You guys have enough money in the world to fund this shit. You guys can do this.
I understand.
You add
Like,
a
it's
show
like, all
every
right,
week.
we're losing money for this, so we're going to cut it. I'm like, well,
The moms will watch the
yeah.
shitty romance shows and the awful, like, goddamn, like, true crime documentaries and shit like that. Let us have our Dark Crystal. Let us have our Bone. Just let us have our cool shit, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I want my Bone.
I want my Bone too, man. I want my Bone too.
I want my.
We all want a Bone.
Speaking of
That's gonna be
Netflix adaptations, there's news about One Piece, and the One Piece comic has new chapters. There you go.
Thanks, Thatch.
Congratulations.
all right. I did take too long on my end, but
No.
It's okay. No.
It's a discussion. We should let it flourish naturally.
Look, I also just like if you get into the pipe wheel, me talking about like all these different things, and then my interest it'll go.
Well, now the segue.
I could listen to it all day. All day.
Yeah,
I just know
I
Braden's
could.
gonna have a lot to say about One Piece.
Anyway, now Braden has the floor.
Hey man, I like to. I'll be quick. I don't know what to. That's your transition was weird because I was gonna go chapter first, then the news. But I guess because we're on this Netflix discussion, that actually kind of helps better. One Piece obviously has gotten some great news this week. Not news I expected at all. I mean, we've been getting casting updates throughout the year, and it's been great. It's been getting a lot of good shit, but this might have been some of the best that we've gotten. So, first and foremost, we got some set photos. And Thatch sent the set photos as well as the casting information at the same time. I'm gonna be honest, the set photos actually don't do too much for me because they're kind of random locations and I don't really know what I'm supposed to get from a lot of this. But I will send them just in case. There is one interesting thing here. Yeah, okay. So one of the places is the shop where Zoro gets his new sword, and he like tests the sword to see. It's like a cursed sword, so he's gonna like test it to see if it cuts off his arm or something. That's gonna be a pretty cool scene. That's a pretty cool location. There's this Pole Star Gallery, and I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I have no idea what this is or where it's or like what it is. I have no idea. Genuinely no idea. Some One Piece fan is gonna be like, you don't remember the Pole Star Gallery from this episode? I'm like, no, I actually don't. Sorry. Same thing for the third photo. I actually don't know what it is. If I have to guess, I'm assuming it is in the lighthouse. That the second photo is also the lighthouse as well. Fun fact: they don't go to a lighthouse in the anime. They actually go. They get swallowed up by a whale, and there's a house in the whale, and it's stupid cartoon madness. It doesn't make any fucking sense. I think they're foregoing that because, like I said, it doesn't make any sense. And instead, they're just going to have the actual lighthouse be the location that they go to. Works for me. It's a really cool idea. It looks great. It looks really comfy. That fourth photo there looks extremely comfy. Photos look great. The sets look great. There's a lot of love. There's a lot of detail put into it. So I'm a huge fan.
The production design in season 1 was really good, and the production design looks like it's still going to be great going forward. They did a great job, and like they told so much story and world building that way. And they're really. It doesn't look cheap. I think that's part of the issue with a lot of the anime adaptations is the production design looks really cheap.
Yes, these do not.
And this looks really good. So.
These do look really solid. But the other major bit of news was some casting announcements, and these have been received. Not like there have been multiple sides. I think mostly it's positive, but I have seen some negative takes here for stupid reasons. But we got the casting announcements for. I'm gonna butcher this guy's name. You guys know him. I want to.
Joe DiMaggio?
It's not DiMaggio. No. It's
Joe,
not.
Joe Manganiello.
There you go. Yeah, Joe
No,
Manganiello, what the frick his name is, as Mr. Zero or Sir Crocodile. This is fantastic news. I love this guy. He's one of my favorite parts of the original Spider-Man, so gotta love that. I haven't seen him in too much, honestly, truthfully, but he just seems like he's a really enthusiastic, nerdy guy who likes this kind of shit, so seems like he's right. This is right up his alley. He's huge and like jacked, and that kind of works for this character too, because he's a big ass dude. He's gonna tower over everybody, which is great. And this guy's like a crime boss too, so he's like a Renzo character, so that totally works for me. The more interesting piece of news is, or for a lot of people, is Lara Abova, I apologize if I butchered that, as Miss All Sunday or Robin, who goes on to become a major character in the series and part of the crew. This casting, so obviously there's been some idiots going like, shut up, okay? You guys are unrealistic and stupid and incel-ish. I don't want to hear it. Because she looks fantastic. She totally fits the character's vibe 100%. She's got like that femme fatale thing kind of going on, which I love. And she's Russian, which fits the nationality that Oda gave her. So there you go. And also, this is kind of a weird point to make, but it is a point worth noting, is that Robin has always had kind of a defined nose bridge, and her nose has been kind of like defined from everyone else's nose. This actress does have a little bit of a hooked nose, so just a very subtle little detail that not too many people are going to notice. They easily could have like found someone else and just like put makeup on the nose or whatever, but no, they actually actively, the casting director is insane. They clearly care a lot about this show, which is just super cool. They're not just picking super popular people for the sake of it. They're actually going with actors that fit a lot of the characters, which is freaking awesome. Huge fan of these castings. Absolutely huge fan of the castings here. And then a surprise bit of news that I don't think anyone was expecting this week was just the casual reveal of Chopper. Well, the back of his head, anyways. It's not a full Chopper reveal, but they are straight up Detective Pikachuing this shit, which is like, alright, didn't expect that. This could be an early thing, and they could change some things, but I really doubt it. This is probably the model from the show, just facing away. And, I mean, he's very furry, he's very fluffy, he's very fuzzy. His antlers are fuzzy, too, which is a little bizarre, but kind of gives me, like, stuffed animal vibes, which I guess is what he always kind of looked like in the first place. His, like, ear twitches and stuff. It's kind of interesting. I don't know how to feel about it yet. I need to see what his face looks like. That's going to be the moment where I'm like, okay, because I'm a little worried. You have a CGI character. He's not going to be in this season very much, but he's going to be in the next season, assuming we get a season 3, which I'm pretty sure that's already been confirmed. But he's going to be in that season a lot. So I'm just worried about like the budget and like how you manage showing this much of a 3D character with everyone else. It does have me a little bit worried, but I was really hoping for like a puppet situation, honestly, but I know that would be uncanny and people probably wouldn't like that. So it's a way to go about it, I suppose. He looks good. Sorry. That's basically all I have to say. Mm-hmm.
I have a quick question. Is he not supposed to be furry?
Well, his antlers aren't furry. Like, that's a weird
Gotcha,
thing.
but he's furry.
Yeah.
Or he's furry, because he's a deer, right?
He's
like,
a
like
reindeer. Yeah. It's just a weird decision to make his antlers furry, too. I'm a little bit weirded out by that. I don't really know what that's all about.
I do kind of wonder, this is a thought I had, if the antlers aren't actually his antlers, but they're part of the hat, and if the hat is just like, they're fake antlers on top of it. I know that's not what it's like in the show, right. But if you look at the design of the antlers, they're not even similar. They're like way different style antlers to these kind of antlers, the like brown ones that he has, like they're not even the same color or anything. I just am wondering if they're they're making the antlers like on a part of his hat, and that's why they're furry, which would be weird, but just a thought I have.
It would be, and I'd also wonder, like, would he have... He wouldn't have antlers underneath, because you wouldn't have any room to fit that. But that would be really uncanny. But maybe he has them cut off, and maybe he grows them later. I don't know. That's some weird shit there. That's an interesting thought. Yeah, it could be part of the hat. Because it is kind of weird to assume that that his hat... Like, first of all, that hat would be a pain in the ass to take off, because he's got to stretch it over his antlers and his ears, and, like, it would be a really inconvenient thing to take off. I never really thought about that. That is cartoon-ass logic that I'm not considering for this show. They might not know. They might just ignore it. They might never address it, but who knows? Maybe they will. It's also weird. They put his model at the fucking table read, and I'm like, this is weird. This is a very weird way to reveal the character, but you know what? It's interesting. It's very interesting. They're doing table reads. They're getting all these actors together. It's pretty damn cool. Like I said, pretty freaking excited. Okay, I want a trailer. We're not gonna get it anytime soon, but goddamn, I want a trailer so badly. So yeah, that is it for the live action side of things. Really quickly going to cover the chapters. There's not too much interesting stuff here. I kind of debated whether or not I even wanted to cover that, but I missed one last week, so I figured why not just swing it back around. The only really interesting thing to happen last chapter is that the crew's getting insanely drunk on their way to the giant island, and the giants are like, dude, this stuff will make you hallucinate. And it's like, that's kind of a weird detail. Then we cut to Shanks and his crew, and they're punishing a pirate who burned down their flag because he's a huge Luffy stan. They didn't know that you're not supposed to fuck with pirate flag. If you burn down a pirate flag, that's fucking war right there. They capture this guy, and then they force him to drink poison, and he's like, or no, they don't force him. They're like, drink this poison, and he's like, yeah, I'll do anything for Luffy. I fucking love Luffy. He drinks it, and then Shanks is like, surprise, it's fake poison. I just wanted to see how loyal you were to Luffy, because Luffy's my G. And he's like, oh, cool, thanks for not murdering me. And then Usopp's dad, who's on Shanks' crew, goes, fuck these guys, they need to learn a lesson, and just blows up their ship. Really confused. I don't know how to feel about this. It's like, they can't commit to whether or not they want Shanks to be evil or not, and it always confuses me, because he'll do something really nice like this, where he'll be like, I'm just testing your loyalty to my boy. And then they'll fucking, like, shoot his ship down and murder him. Like, it doesn't make... It's really inconsistent how they've been handling his character. But the end of the chapter ends with Nami waking up in a fucking Lego house, and she's dressed like Viking style already. That's fucking weird. We got a little bit of confirmation this chapter what that's all about. They're on the island already. Usually there's a nice shot of them pulling in where we see the whole island and we get introduced to no, they're just already on the island. It's like, oh, okay, they must have got really drunk or something. They are in a fucking Lego-ass house, and there seems to be a lot of magic shenanigans going on. There's, like, cats that are turning into lions and, like, there's, like, giant bumblebees floating around, and they're talking about, like, the god trees and shit. It's crazy. This isn't a crazy introduction to an arc, and I'm already like, what the fuck's happening? All of the boys are in their fucking Viking outfits. It looks so cool. I love it. I hate Nami's outfit. Obviously, it looks about exactly what you expect it to be. It's as revealing as you could possibly make it. But Usopp's outfit, Usopp's my favorite character. So his outfit is perfect. He's got like a beard. He's got big pants. He looks like a Viking guy. So I love that shit. And Luffy's outfit is obviously the best. Chapter kind of ends like that, but kind of crazy to see a Lego house. I assume this is for the giant kids who are playing with, or like this is like their own Lego house that they built or something. It is straight up just, it's not actually Lego, but it's basically Lego. I mean, you see like Lego flower pots and shit like that. I'll send some photos later, but it's fucking weird, man. Decent chapters. I'm very excited that we're finally going to Elbaf. Like I said, this has been teased since like chapter fucking 200 something, so they have finally delivering on this island that they have been building up for fucking 20 years now. It's so nice to finally get some payoff here, and we're gonna get introduced to a lot of really cool shit, probably some Asgard ass lore and shit like that. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And now,
There you go.
and then finally we have we're bringing back the old style where we talk about a couple of TV shows, because we have new TV shows airing. We have DC's The Penguin and Agatha All Along from Marvel. Marvel and DC airing
Yep.
at the same time. Well, actually, no, because they're being stupid with the release of the Penguin. But
And they're
that's
both spin-offs
they
of
are
one of
fan favorite characters.
Well, Agatha is a spin-off of a spin-off, actually.
That's true.
If you're
spin-off,
tracking.
yeah, spin-off
So
within a spin-off.
whatever you want to talk about. So first of all, Aiden, have you seen Penguin, but you haven't seen Agatha?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you've seen both. I haven't seen either. Which one do you guys might as well talk about?
I'm gonna speed run Agatha so we can just talk about Penguin. I just
Yeah.
think I should just speed run
Yeah.
through Agatha and then we can. Yeah.
Go right ahead then. Agatha All Along.
Most people are like, why the hell is there an Agatha show? I don't know. No, I don't have any answers for you after having watched it.
Because the song made millions of views. That's it. That's.
Yeah, it's directed by not the showrunner, the director of WandaVision, because the showrunner of WandaVision is the guy doing Fantastic Four. So the director is the one doing this, Jack Schaefer. And look, there's not a lot to say here. Honestly, if you weren't interested in it, I don't think watching these 2 episodes is going to make you interested. Like, honestly. I think the audience for this show are people that like Halloween, like spooky, like Hocus Pocus style movies and stuff like that. Which is definitely an audience. They made a big-ass Lego set about it, so there's definitely that people there. As well as probably Wanda stans, obviously, probably are going to be really into this.
Wow.
Personally, I didn't really like... No, there's a lot of Wanda, because they like...
No, I know.
Like
I know.
Agatha.
It's just what you would told me. I would be like, huh? But I get what you're saying. Just a vibe.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. The first episode really didn't do it very much for me because it was essentially a complete rerun of a WandaVision tropes of like false narrative, and it's a different show, but this time it's a true crime show, and Agatha's the hard-boiled detective, and you're like, okay, I can't get invested in this narrative because I know it's fake, so just get over with it already,
Right.
you know? And the gimmick where it's just, I'm just done with that gimmick. Work. They wrap it up by the end of that episode. Agatha runs around naked for a little bit. Weird.
Cool.
But then Braden's like, maybe I should watch it. But then the second episode kicks in, and I like that one a lot more because it kind of is catering towards what makes the show what its unique avenue is, and that's just exploring witch lore. They start setting out mechanics for the witches. There's like they have to form a team of witches. There's like a clairvoyant witch. There's an earth witch. There's there's all kinds of different like witches with different disciplines and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. And yeah, it's fine. It's like a fun spooky show at that point. And I think that's fun about it. Like the spookiness, the Halloweenness is fun. So if you love Halloween, you don't give a shit about Marvel, you'd probably really like this show, honestly. Especially if you like Hocus Pocus. If you love Hocus Pocus, this show is for you, you know? Aiden does not like Hocus Pocus.
Really?
Yeah, I heard some people saying it was like cringe and bad and it's not that. It's not like cringe and awful.
Yeah,
I hear that all the time.
Yeah, everyone says everything is cringe and bad, so I don't trust
Right.
anyone
I saw a take on Twitter that was like, I just couldn't get into it. It's too cringe. I couldn't. It's
cringe levels
it was the
are
freaking.
beyond. Yeah.
It was like the tone of people being like, I couldn't get into Turning Red because it just wasn't for me. It was like that vibe. It was like that was the essence.
You're not a 14-year-old girl. I don't know what you fucking. You don't know what
Yeah,
you
what do you?
want.
Also, like, 14-year-old girls have had to enjoy movies about freaking generic men for the last 90 years of cinema, so you can maybe, stomach it for one movie. Anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah, so, sorry, getting way too into, like movie politics. The show's fine. I don't think you should watch it if you weren't already interested in watching it. I think if you were interested in watching it, you're gonna be totally satisfied. That's my solution with it, There's a lot of cool witch lore in there. That's kind of fun, but that's the best part of it, and yeah, but it's fine. It's like whatever. It's not offensive. It's not great.
Yeah.
So moving on, I don't really have much to say about it. I'm watching it because I've got nothing better to do right now because I'm about to move. I might not even stick it all the way through. If I do, I might not. Who knows? It's kind of nice to watch something weekly.
Yeah.
I don't watch like Game of Thrones and stuff like that, so I haven't had a whole lot to watch the last couple months. But
Fair.
yeah. moving on, though. Over and done with Agatha.
Yeah.
Moving on to Penguin.
The Penguin.
Woo-hoo.
Penguin all along. You guys both watched it. What'd you guys think? I didn't watch it because I don't have a freaking membership to HBO Max or where the fuck
Dude, it's literally your show. Like, it's about your life.
Is it?
It's about you. Yeah, it's about you.
That's cool. What'd you guys think?
Yeah.
What'd you guys think?
Aiden, what'd you think?
It fucking sucked. No, it was good. It was
Fucking
good.
rots, dude.
It rots. It was. I got through the first 5 minutes, pretty cringe. No, I'll tell you.
Cringe and bad.
It's been a minute since I've watched the show, and the first 5 minutes had me like. I mean, I'm very reactionary when I watch stuff, but even by myself, like this morning, I just like I got to before I went to work, I put on the TV just to watch. Like, all right, I'll get the first scene in, and I'm like, oh shit, you know, I was just like, I don't know, it's not like anything surprising, but it's kind of a funny moment, and then you see the Penguin have that reaction to what he just did, and you're just like laughing. You're like, okay, well. I'm interested. I like to see what's going on further. Yeah, I was. So when they announced this, right? To me, the Penguin was like one of the highlights of the 2022 Batman movie. The makeup aesthetics, like that prosthetics, look phenomenal. It does not look like Colin Farrell whatsoever.
Yeah.
But his acting and paired with that, like he is completely transformed into a different character overall. And every scene I think of him in the Batman film was just entirely entertaining. So having a show, to me initially seemed, okay, maybe they can do well with this. Maybe this might be worthy. And I watched this, and obviously there's definitely some Sopranos, like, it's through an HBO streaming service they're putting this on, so the influence there is obviously apparent. But I was curious of how much this was going to develop the crime side of what we view Gotham City, especially that our perspective now being completely shifted away from Batman to a character like Oz, the Penguin, who is not Cobblepot here, but Cobb, which I don't know how.
Hold on. I have an opinion about that. Okay.
Yeah,
because
I do too.
I'm not sure I agree with Cobblepot Gate. I think there's been some misnomers here, okay? When the first rumors came out, they said he was no longer Oswald Cobblepot, he was Oz Cobb, right? But I don't know if you remember, they call him Oswald in the show, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like there was some, they said, oh, his name's not Oswald, it's Oz. No, it's Oswald. So is it Oswald? I feel like there was some miscommunication going on between humans. I feel like they're not going to say his last name's Cobblepot, but Oz Cobb is just short for Oswald Cobblepot. I don't know if it's like we can canonically say it's just Cobb. His name is probably Oswald Cobblepot, but they're just never going to say the full name in the show. Because who would? It's ridiculous.
I don't get why you change Cobblepot itself. It's just keep the fucking name.
Again, I'm not convinced.
It doesn't change anything. I assumed that was Oz Cobblepot. That's what I thought from the initial beginning when we saw him in the Batman.
It's like when they changed.
I'm not convinced
for sure. Again, but Oz Cobb sounds so fucking goofy. I'm like,
again, I'm not convinced that if you were to track down his birth certificate, it would say Oswald Cobb. Again, because they said his name was Oz Cobb, but they call him Oswald in the show. I think his name is still Oswald Cobblepot. They're just not going to say Oswald Cobblepot.
That's my Brayden would put it back then, in my canon, it is Oz. His nickname is short for Oz, but it's Oswald Cobblepot.
I don't know, man. This is also these are
Why get rid of the pot? Why get rid of the pot?
This is the same people who changed fucking Edward Nygma to Edward Nashton, right? So
that's true. Yeah, that is.
But again, they said that his name was Oz Cobb, not Oswald Cobblepot, and then they call him Oswald in the fucking show. So I don't believe.
To me, I interpret it as that's his full name. Everyone else just calls him Oz as like for sure as a nickname.
Well, I can also
that's
see
what I work to believe that.
Isn't it his mother the one that says Oswald?
Yes, she does. Yeah, she calls him Oswald.
So,
yes,
that makes sense. You think his own mother would say that, but yeah.
If we're to, but she doesn't call him Oswald Cobb. She just calls him Oswald, right? If Oz is short for Oswald, I'm pretty sure Cobb is just short for Cobblepot.
Right,
Sorry,
and that's what I'm trying to.
This is
That's what
not.
I'm saying.
You guys should.
Yeah.
This
This
is
is a whole
not
stupid
even be
story.
talking about
It's
this.
just everyone got all up in arms and pissy about it, and then they Oswald in the episode, and I was like, wait a minute, I thought his name was Oz. You know, so sorry.
So they're gonna call him Cobb, and then the other guy's gonna call him Cobblepot, and you're like, well,
Yeah.
There you go.
there you go.
Yeah.
It's stupid to begin with. Like, I don't understand. Like, Matt Reeves sat there and was like,
'Cause
let's make it more realistic. Let's make it Cobb. And I'm like, I know a guy with that last name, and he looks like the Penguin, and I'm like,
it runs through the
It's a
comic.
guy named
Cobblepot?
yeah, I'm like,
Really?
Oz
You know a man
Cobb.
with the last
Oz
name
Cobb
Cobblepot?
sounds so.
No,
It sounds like a
you
Renzo
just said
character.
Cobb, right?
It sounds like a Renzo
His
character.
name's is Cobb or Cobblepot, Aiden?
Through the show or the comic?
No, for your
The guy
personal
you
real
know.
life.
Oh, in my headcanon?
No,
No,
I thought
you said you know a guy with that last
Oh,
name.
the guy's name, his last name's Cobb. I'm sorry.
Cobb,
It's
okay.
Cobb.
Okay, it's Cobb.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not Oswald, his first name. He's
No,
got a
we
different
figured
It's
that.
not,
We just-
it's not Cobblepot.
Yeah. Not through. It's just Cobb. It is just
Cobblepot
Cobb.
is not a name. It's like a name that 3 people on the planet have.
Yeah. I don't know.
I know, that's why I was-
People got weird
That's why I
fucking
was
names.
so shocked.
It's almost
was
like,
like,
it's
what?
almost like these characters were written fucking 100 years ago. And they
I'm
have,
sorry. Yeah, I was
their names
thinking
are all
about. I was
stupid.
thinking differently about it.
I
but,
hate
yeah.
them trying to make. Oh, it's Edward Nashton now. Fuck
So-
off. Sorry.
Beyond the controversy around his fucking name,
Which is a huge controversy, apparently.
on the show Cobb or fucking Oswald or I don't know. It's like
Cobb.
at this point. Like,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the first episode. I don't know how this is going to be 8 episodes. I'll be honest, because when I heard 8, I'm like, ooh. I'm like, I don't know if you can maybe. I
They're
don't
all
know how.
long, too. They're all like an hour long.
This was long. It was over an hour. It was good. It was well paced. It definitely just sets up who the Penguin is a bit more. Probably one of my favorite parts that really made the character blossom to me was him visiting his mother. Getting the spoilers a little bit here. I really like that, but just like Oz's simple motivation of just trying to. Obviously, the whole point of the show is him. The power vacuum is open because of the death of Carmine Falcone, and Penguin's trying to prove himself when everyone else around the crime mob bosses in Gotham are doubting him, and he's just head for hire, or just a meathead or whatever, lard head. So, it's interesting that we're exploring more of his life and seeing Gotham in different perspectives of this world, especially that this show is already taking place a week after the Batman, where that left off. So,
Yeah. I just want to hop in. And I think what I really like about this show is that I personally, every time I watch the Batman, I absolutely love the world of that movie, the version of Gotham in that movie. I remember Aiden saw the movie before me, and I asked him, and I said, Aiden, because by the way, I have very strong opinions about Gotham City, because I think it's very easy to screw it up. And they did for 3 movies because of Christopher Nolan put it in goddamn Chicago, and it was anyway. So I have very strong opinions about it, and I want it to be a shithole, exaggerated, like alternate universe. Like I don't want it to be like
Gothic.
a real
There's
city.
Gothic architecture,
Yes.
man. They gotta.
It's gothic and gross. That's what I want. And I remember I texted Aiden when after he saw the movie because he saw it before me, and I said, Aiden, how is Gotham? And Aiden's like, all I will say is that it's Gotham. And I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm good now. And so I love that world. I love this like Gothic city that was once built inspired by Gothic architecture, but then has got like 50 years of shit and grime and like modern like apartment buildings built on top of it. I think it works super well. And
It is so fleshed out.
Yes, and it's such an interesting alternate world, and I just was invested in that. And my biggest fear was, oh man, and I really hope that they do Gotham justice again and make it feel like the same Gotham, because it's so easy when people like you watch Batman Begins and Batman and The Dark Knight, and it's 2 different freaking cities essentially.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
is. A quick fun fact.
Williams. What's up?
I wanted to say, you were just mentioning about how Christopher Nolan was filming most of the Dark Knight movies in Chicago. Well, I learned recently that Matt Reeves filmed a lot of scenes or some city scenes for the Batman in Chicago, but he chose architecture around the city that was more Gothic to represent Gotham. So he actually just went out of his way,
Two
like, all right,
separate cities, two very different.
but to make the difference of the precise location and to film it at, you look at the movie, But
Yeah.
yes, I agree with that. It is maintained through this, and it's been interesting to see more of the city when it's not raining during the daytime. That was something where the
Yes,
salty
yeah. So that's what's so cool to me. That's my into this show is I love this world. I want to explore more of this world and see how it works and the vibes of it. And it's interesting. It's like, what if classic Italian mobsters existed in the 2020s, which is kind of also part of it. Like all these guys have got cartoonish accents, but they exist nowadays. Like there's a lot of like, it's a lot of really fun fiction and stuff happening, and really like it. And the show does it. So that's what got me happy. I liked Penguin movie, but I was like, you could have set any show in Gotham and I would have watched it. However, this show has really gotten me even more on board with Penguin. Like, I think they do a really good job exploring his unique perspective as essentially criminal middle management. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's not the guy on top. He's not a foot soldier, but he's like not much higher.
Yeah.
He's just kind of.
But he's stuck there. He's stuck there.
He's stuck, and I like hearing his psycho. Like you hear how one of his lines in the show is he's like, whenever I go and talk to these big criminal guys, all I have to do is make myself feel small so that they feel big, and then they give me what I want. And it's like really cool psychology.
That's why I love that opening scene, because that interaction is just incredible, and then how that ends off because of just one simple, just change of an expression, and then I think the characterization of him really, like I said, blossomed through this, just the first episode alone. So that made it, like I said, that definitely, if your main character is not going to run, it's not going to give any compelling reason, I feel like it's just not going to uphold, even when we have like such an interesting setting like Gotham is in this world. So I hope that is being maintained. I'm hopeful that it will be throughout the rest of the show, the remaining, like we have 7 episodes. So I'm just curious of how much they're going to tackle through all of this. And like I said, I don't know. I feel like they got a lot in this one, so that's why I'm like, all right, I got to move forward with some elements. But I think it's a good starting episode. So
it's essentially what the show feels like is a Kingpin origin story. Like, how does someone rise to become a Kingpin?
Rise to power.
Yes, like how does he become? Because Kingpin, because like again, it feels like Daredevil a little bit at times. It's a little bit more exaggerated. It's a little bit more like you said, it's a bit more like Sopranos and stuff. But it does remind me of Daredevil quite a bit. And so I'm very curious about where it'll go. But I think it's cool, and I think the idea was we're gonna meet Penguin in Batman 2, and he will be a fully formed Penguin mob boss. I think that's where we're gonna find him in that movie.
Yeah, that's me.
So I'm curious. This is a fun story to tell, to see how he got there, and it's really cool. I love how the rich neighborhoods of Gotham look so incredibly fancy and clean compared to like the exaggerated, shithole Gotham.
And how they were affected.
I turned to my partner and I said, like, it showed some establishing shots. I just turned to her and I was like, God, it's such a shithole. And she was just like in a good way or a bad way? And I was like, in a good way, So
it's a lovely shithole. Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Well, I guess I need to go watch it then.
Yeah, stream it, baby.
I mean, you're going to see Oswald, his naked body, so look forward to that.
Yep.
Yeah.
This 10-minute long scene. Is that all you guys have to say? You guys good?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for listening. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me today.
All right, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Almost ended.